Hello guys, thank you for joining me. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here, please subscribe, like if you're watching from Facebook, and follow us. So this is the fishing line I'll be using for this tutorial. So you have the one for that is 120 and the one that is that is 80 mm. So I use the one that is 80. I bought the 120 but it keeps breaking my needle, so I changed it. So this is 100 and this is 20 yards of organza. You can use organdy, you can use any fabric of choice, but I'm using organza fabric, and this fabric is 20 yards for this tie, guys. Yes, so now what I am doing here is to fold. I folded the fabric into four because I have to cut. I'm cutting a flounce, right? I'm cutting a flay. I'm using a flay way of cutting, so that's what I'm doing now. So I folded the fabric into four vertically and into four horizontally, but before folding I made sure I measured the width I wanted for the ruffles. Okay, so the ruffle, it depends on how wide you want it to be. So this one was not more than 5 inches. Okay, so I make sure I measure and then I added my radius. So there is no particular, I just added, like, the radius was about 5 inches, so I measured like 11 so that I'll be able to cut. I don't want to waste the fabric too much, so I folded into 4 vertically and into 4 horizontally. Okay, and this is me measuring what I wanted. Okay, so I just measured, there's no special calculation, so I just measure what I got. Okay, I measured 6. So, and make sure when you're what you're measuring is not, you don't extend beyond the lines you fold. Okay, because if it goes beyond the folded part, you have some parts shorter. So this is me just measuring. So the radius is 5, and then I'll mark my 5 around the tip just to get my radius, and then after which I'll measure my 6 inches width for the ruffle, the spiral ruffle. Okay, so if you want your ruffle to be longer, you can make your radius bigger and then you fold more. Okay, so I will be cutting lots of this, so this is not all, so I had to fold into 4 so that I can cut 4 at once. So this is how I kept doing it. I cut, I folded, I cut, and I folded. So you pin it down after marking, then you get your pin it down and then cut it out. Once you cut it out neatly, you have your 4 piece together. You can see this is 4, and then what you need to do is to open one part. Okay, so you get your scissors and then you open one part, and then you have it long. So this is what will be used to cut to make our ruffles, our spiral ruffles, right? So this is just it. So I'll do this. I have 4 pieces already, so I'm going to cut out the part that is not equal on my fabric. You can, please don't throw your radius, so you might need it to just fill in. At the end of the day, you can still cut out a little part from the tip of that part, that round piece, and then still use your fishing line to hem it, and then you still have it coily, and then you can just need to fill in your ruffles, your train. Okay, so I'm folding again. So this is how I folded everything. It took a little bit of time after folding, and this is all I have, guys. This is the 20 yards, and I'm showing you again, this is the fishing line. So I used 1.5, like the one I showed you before. I finished 1 and then I used over 1.5. Okay, like over 1.5, and then you need a serger, a weaving, an industrial weaving machine to do this, and a matching thread. So I fixed my thread to match my fabric, and this is it. So initially I used the 20 ml, I used the 120 mm fishing line, but it was breaking my needle. It kept breaking my needle, so I had to change it. I had to buy another. I bought the one that is 80. So the first dress I made sometime last year, 2 years ago, the green dress, I used 100 mm, but I couldn't find the 100 in the market, so I bought 80. So 100 is fine, but the 120, guys, I finished almost 1 pack of needle, so I had to change it before it scatters my machine, and then I I've got
the
80
wiring,
mm,
the
but
wire
each
is
of
on
the
fishing line
comes with 100 yards. I
the
guess
fishing line
it comes with
is
100 mm. So now
the
you can
fabric.
see
So
what I did was to take my
you can start sewing. So make sure it
needle,
doesn't touch
the holder of
needle
the
doesn't
thing.
touch
I took
the
it away,
wire,
and then I
the
placed
fishing
my
line, else
fishing
it's
line
going to
on my
break.
fabric. And then
So
make
this
sure
is how
your
you keep
needle is
going
in front,
gradually.
guys. Look at it closely.
So it can,
Make
the
sure your
fishing line
needle
can
is
go
in front,
under the
and then you just place your fishing line on your fabric
if
and
it goes
just
under
keep
the
sewing. That's all you need to do. So you don't need
your
that
fabric,
part
bring
of
it
the
up,
machine that
okay.
will hold down your fabric. And see, there's nothing holding down the fabric. I've pushed that aside.
So you keep
I just
going.
need the fishing line on my fabric, and then my needle, the
Just
sewing
make
needle,
sure
the
that
machine
it has
needle
picked my
in
fabric.
front of
That place will be bulky a bit.
in front of the
So
fishing line, while the fishing line is behind, and then just keep sewing gradually. Keep doing it gradually. To take a little time. At the beginning you might find it difficult, but you will get it right. So just keep doing it. At some point the fabric might be bulky in some areas, but don't stop, just keep going. So you can see as I'm doing right now. So sometimes the fishing line can go under the fabric. Once it goes under the fabric, it's fine. You can bring it back on top and then keep sewing. But make sure your needle doesn't touch your fishing line, so it can break the needle, you can break the fishing line, and your needle can also break. Okay,
so this is how
you keep doing. So once you're able to do the first one, do the second one, the third one, you find it easy, and before you know it, you are done. Guys, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. 20 yards of organza, and then using your serger to do it. It's a lot of work, but it is worth it. So just take your time gradually. It took me like 2 days, like not 24 hours. When I'm tired, I will leave it and I do other things and then come back to it. It took me like 2 or 3 days to finish it, but if you really want to finish it in a day, you should be, if you want to. Okay, so this is it. You can see how coily the edge is. So the essence of the fishing line is just to make it coily, to give it a coily shape. So now this is my dress. Now this is the skirt. So I'm measuring from the knee line down to the hem at the back, so the slit part. Okay, so if you want it higher, make sure you notch the part that you start measuring from the part. So what I have is 33. So I started from my knee line of my slit, right, the knee line of my slit, and I measured 33. So this is the fabric. This is a plain crepe fabric, so you can use lining. This is what is going to act as the base. It's going to be the base. So I'm folding it on back. You can see I just folded it in triangle shape. Okay, so this is 2 yards of crepe fabric. So from the tip, from the top angle, like the angle, this is in triangle. Okay, so I measured 33. So the 33, I think I added 1 inch for folding allowance. So that's at the side. Now for the center back, of the base, now I made it 50 because I wanted a train. Okay, so if you don't want a train, if you just want it equal, so you just mark 33 on both sides, the center back and the side back. Okay, but because I wanted a train, I made it 50. So that's like about 16. I added like 16 inches more. You can add like 10. You can add as much as you want. So it depends on how long you want it. If you want it flowing, guys, then you make sure you add a lot, but make sure the side is what you measured on your center back at like the slit part of your skirt part. So after doing that, you cut. Make sure you pin and then you cut. So these are the ruffles. These are just some of the ruffles. The other ones are on the floor. Okay, so after cutting, this is what you have. You can see how it is. So both sides should be equal, and then you have the longer part at the center. That's the center back. Okay, so now you double. Now you don't have to do this one. You can double, you can triple. So what I did here was to triple it. Yes, because I don't want the base to be seen. I don't want it light. So because it's organza, you can see the way now on one side I'm sewing it on one side. I'm going to sew it down. So this is the side that will go on my slit. So when you are the side that will go on your slit, make sure the side of the ruffle is also matching the side. So I'll sew this side and I'll sew the other side. So I'm on my sewing machine now, trying to, you can see I tripled the ruffle is triple. is triple, is three in three pieces. So I'm sewing it on the side, guys. Is on the side, so I'm going to sew on both side of this, of the base. Okay, so the both side is the side that is going to place on the slit, and then I have my center back. So after doing one side, I'm doing the other side. So you sew one side, you sew the other side before you start placing your ruffle in the middle gently. So make sure you do it in a way that the edge is going to match with the edge of your base. Okay, so now I've done that. Now this is me now placing my ruffle. Now you place it evenly. Now you place it the way you place at the side, one side you place on the other side. That is how you keep sewing. You keep placing till you finish, you exhaust your ruffle. So you can use your chalk or measure, but use your eyes. So I left a space of about ½ inch in between, so it's not, I didn't cluster it that much. So you can do ½ inch, you can do 1 inch, depending on how much fabric you used. Okay, so the green dress I showed earlier on, I used about 12 yards, if I remember. That's like a while ago, 2 or more years ago, and it's not as full as this one. That one doesn't have a train, but this has a train. Okay, so guys, this is what we have from our 20 yards. So you can see the base. So everything has been sewn on my base. So this is the base. It is this base I will attach to the slit, the back of my skirt, to give you the train. You can see how long it is. So the side is going to match with the side with the slit, whereas like you can see both sides is going to match. So that is my 33 inches. Then the center is going to be longer. So this is it. So what you need to do now, you back stitch that part very well, the slit part. You back stitch it so it's firm, it doesn't tear apart, and then you can now place your ruffle base on the slit part. So you make sure the center aligns, match up. You need your pins at this point. So you need to pin it down. It's not going to be easy sewing, but it's what you can do. So pin it down. So I'll pin from the center to the side, to one side, and I'll do the same to the other side. So just pin it, just so you find it easy to sew. If you don't pin, you may likely struggle. Even with the pin, you may still struggle a little. Okay, so I'm pinning both sides. After pinning, I will take it to my machine, and then I will sew it closely. You can see the side. I made sure the side of the side aligns, because I cut the side equally. So the side wasn't longer than the base wasn't longer than my skirt. So that's the 33 I said I cut, including the allowance, the folding allowance. Okay, so this is it, guys. So now I'm about sewing it. Now the sewing part is not easy, so you start from the center. Make sure you pin very well, you pin correctly, and then you start from the center. That's the slit, the center part of the slit. You pick one side, and then you sew down. You sew down, and then you pick the other side and you sew down. You might find it a little bit difficult, but just keep going, and before you know, you're done. So this is me doing the other side. I'm done with one side, and I'm doing the other side of it. So this is it, guys. This is it. I don't know if you subscribe to this channel. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like if you're watching from Facebook, if you've gotten value. So this is my ruffle, guys. After fixing, this is what I have. You can see how full and coily it is. It is simple and straightforward. So you want it longer, you make it longer. That means you're buying more organza. So if you want to use organdy, it's fine, but organdy is more expensive. So you can see the back, everything is matching up. You can see how coily and beautiful it is. So this is all about